Hi, I am back with another book haul from the library. I have these 11 children's books that I read to my 4-month-old daughter. I'm going to go through all of them and introduce them to you, starting with my very favorite one, When Grandma Gives You a Lemon Tree. I really appreciated this book for a few reasons, but really it just checked all of my boxes for what I'm looking for in an ideal children's book. First of all, it has a really clear linear story. You're going to be able to understand it. Your child is going to be able to understand it. Second of all, it has a great theme to it. This book's themes are about entrepreneurship. They're about having a world beyond technology, and they're about finding community. And basically the story is simple. It's about this grandma who brings a lemon tree as a gift to her granddaughter, and the girl is not thrilled with it because she wanted some things that were not lemon trees, as many kids might. But she ends up finding that it is such an amazing gift. You might be able to figure out where the story is going if you think about it. But I promise you the illustrations are very entertaining. They feel very unique, I would say. Like the little jokes that are in the words and in the illustrations, I think they make the story really come to life. And I think your kid is really going to enjoy it. Next up, I have Dream Friends. This is a different book in that it is, I would say, largely told through the illustrations. These illustrations are just very beautiful and very personal. The author of this book, Yu Byun, is a person who grew up in Japan and Korea and the United States. So she's kind of straddled multiple worlds, and she found that as she was growing up, she had a hard time kind of making friends. And this story makes a lot of sense for that because it's about a girl who retreats into this dream world, and she just has so much fun in her dream world. But in the real world, on the playground, she's feeling lonely. And she wished that her dream friend was with her. And then I'll read a couple pages. This is where the story takes a turn. She thought about the fun they'd had in her dream the night before. She closed her eyes. She danced their dance. She felt her friend was with her. Is that a new game? Someone asked. Melody opened her eyes and saw a girl. And this girl decides she wants to join in the game, so she starts dancing with her. And in this way, the girl, Melody, is able to make some friends. And so I thought this was a beautiful story about what to do if you're lonely. And the message in this story is you need to just be yourself. You need to do what makes you happy or what you're passionate about and invite others into your world by being authentically yourself. So I thought it was a great message, and these illustrations are just amazing in this book. There's so much you can look at and see, and it feels like such a personal story. So absolutely love that one. Next I have I Am You, a book about Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is a South African philosophy, and it is a philosophy about, I'll just read it, I am because you are. It means that you give to your community, and by giving to your community, you give to yourself. By listening to others, you give to yourself. By seeing beauty in others, you give to yourself. So it's about interconnectedness, and it's about I would say this philosophy. It's about this philosophy of being able to enrich your own life by enriching the lives of others. And I think this is a really welcome philosophy and a welcome message in American society, because we often think about, materialism and doing things for ourselves as the vehicle to make ourselves happy, as opposed to doing more for others and finding joy and enrichment in that. So this is just a great book that brings to life this philosophy. It's a philosophy I think a lot of us may have thought about, but maybe we hadn't ever put it into words and thought about it concretely. So I really enjoyed this book. It enriched my understanding of the world. I had to look up the word Ubuntu, and I personally learned from it, but it's also just a great philosophy and concept to introduce to kids. Next up, I have a much simpler book, but that doesn't mean it's not as good. It's called What About Bear by Suzanne Bloom. This is a book you can read in just a few minutes. It's very short. but it's very cute and it has a great message. It's about a bear and a duck who play together, and one day they're joined by this little fox that says, "Hey, can I play?" And the fox wants to play games too, but some of the fox's games are not very suitable for Bear, who's obviously a lot bigger and kind of awkward and has a hard time with games like checkers here. And so it keeps on coming back to the duck saying, "What about Bear?" And it turns out the duck is a very sensitive duck, and he knows that you need to find a game that will work for everyone. And as you can imagine, they figure out a way. But I think this is a really good story for kids because that's something a lot of kids are going to encounter at some point in their life. They're going to be playing a game. There's going to be some other kid who wants to play or do something different, but you need to find games. You need to find ways of incorporating multiple people into whatever you're doing, right? You don't want to be doing something where you're excluding someone else. And so I just really like this example, and I like this example to share with kids. Be like that duck who's finding ways that you can all play together harmoniously. Next up, I have Chooch Helped. This is a cute story. It's about a little boy named Chooch and his older sister. It's actually told from the perspective of the older sister. And the boy, Chooch, likes to help his older sister do all kinds of different things. He likes to help his family do different things. But one day he's helping and he breaks something. He breaks a pot that his older sister is working on, and then he gets upset, his sister gets upset, his parents get upset at the sister for being upset. And what happens from there? The family works it out. The family kind of comes together. The sister is obviously pretty good with her emotional intelligence, and she knows that Chooch was just trying to help. And so they come together as a family, and I think this story is just so sweet. It feels so personal. It feels like it really is just an authentic story, probably from the author's experience. And even the illustrations just have this feeling of being very personal. So I love that. I love to read a story that feels like it's just directly from someone. Next, I have The Artivist. And this is a different type of story. It is a story about a kid who likes to do art, and then he also likes to stand up for others. He likes to be an activist. And of course, if you're an activist, you probably know that there's times when it feels totally hopeless. You feel you can't possibly solve these problems. They're way bigger than you. That's kind of one of the big frustrations of activism. But he basically embraces that anyway, and he dives into the challenges. He finds ways to merge his art and his activism together, and he does well, basically. So I think this is a great message to put out to kids. Some kids might like art and they don't know what's the meaning of art, or how do I use art. Other kids, maybe they're passionate about activism, and they'll find over time that art is a great vehicle for activism. I think the book can be just a little bit preachy, but I think that message is still good. So I think this page sums it up pretty well. Activism has the power to spark the compassion and empathy of the whole world, and the artivist can light that flame. Well, that's as good as any page that I could read to you from that book, The Artivist. Next, I have Gone with the Wand, and this is a very talky, chatty book. It's got so many words per page, much more than I'm used to, but I actually appreciated that for kind of diversity in this book stack, because it gives me a chance to start bridging between these little children's books and longer stories. My 4-month-old baby always started crying somewhere in the middle of this book. It was just a little bit too long of a running time, if you will, for her. But I'm sure it'll be great for older kids. I should probably tell you what the story is about. It is about a witch whose wand breaks and another witch who wants to help the now unemployed witch find something else to do with her life. And I think the illustrations are very inventive, creative, fun. There's a lot of humor in this. Like, look at the design of one of these witches' castles. It's just a very fun fantasy story with kind of this modern sense of humor. Next, I have The Seekers. The Seekers has one really standout feature, and that is the illustrations. These are actually, or they dioramas or something like that. They're like 20 or 30 layers of art per illustration, and you can see they're kind of like silhouettes. Now, I feel that the story, to be honest with you, is a little on the generic side. It feels like Avatar, but I would guess that the author-illustrator would prefer the term archetypal. It's just a very archetypal type of story. It's basically about a community. The river stops flowing. They go out to figure out what's wrong with it. They discover these crystals. They start taking the crystals to decorate their home. It makes things worse. And then they realize they need to put things back in the environment where they found them so that the environment can function harmoniously. So it's got a nice environmental theme. And these illustrations are really, truly stunning. So that is the book, The Seekers. Next, I have Cattail by Michael Hall. And this book's very cute. I feel like there's a lot of wordplay and design play. It is about 3 cats, and they do some random things. I think that, like, page by page, it's just like fun and entertaining to say these words or to point out the silly things the cats are doing to my girl. And I don't know. I don't think it builds up to a particularly meaningful story. I don't think that's the point. I think it's just about having fun page by page, and I don't know, having fun with shapes, having fun with words and colors, and just having fun with this medium of children's books. Next, I have Flora and the Flamingo. This book has really gorgeous illustrations. It's basically a book about a flamingo and a little girl, and they dance together. It has a pop-up type feature where some of the pages have little flaps, and you can show the bird do this little dance like he's opening up his wings, and the girl is sad, and then she turns around, you know. So I can kind of narrate this to my daughter as I read it, but the book doesn't have any words, so you're going to be on your own there. You're going to have to explain what's happening page by page. Not hard to do, but I personally didn't find it a particularly meaningful story. It's just about a girl and a bird dancing, as far as I could tell, and dancing and having fun together. So it's beautiful, for sure. The illustrations are a standout here. Flora and the Flamingo. Next, I have another, and this is another book where you're on your own. You're going to have to explain this one because there are no illustrations. As far as I could tell, this is a story about a girl and a cat, and one day a portal opens and there's another cat. And then the girl gets curious and the cat gets curious, and they run into this portal. It sort of takes them to another dimension, and a lot of interesting things happen in that dimension. Pages like this. So I think these books are kind of fun in that they challenge you to be the storyteller or maybe your kid, and to figure out what's going on each page. They sort of challenge you a little bit to narrate this. Again, I'd say it's probably falling towards the bottom of my list because I didn't find this book to particularly have any meaning, but I will say that's probably not the point. It's really just about having fun with the images and having fun with a reading experience. So that's my list. I hope that you enjoyed them. I love getting books like this from the library because you just cannot find these kinds of books at Barnes & Noble. If you were to literally go to Barnes & Noble and ask for these titles, you'd probably find they don't have any of them in stock, most likely. These are the types of books that you're going to see in a library where they're curating new original stories, and they're presenting them to you. So go to your local library. I hope you find some amazing books like this, or maybe you can check out some from this stack. If you'd like to see more book reviews like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.